160. He's gone.
What's up guys, MaksWerks here, and today we are going to be doing another Harbor Freight tool review. This time we're going to be working with this 10-inch 12-speed drill press along with this Forge 4-inch vise. This bad boy, after the coupon, is about $112. It's about $140 if you don't have the 20% coupon. And the reason I went with this one rather than the smaller 8-inch is because this one has enough power, enough juice to really go through steel properly. And that was really important to me. I didn't want to have to buy this, return it, and buy another one. So I went ahead and spent a little bit more money and got this guy. And it goes down to 300 RPM, which is pretty important if you're going to be cutting through kind of some of the heavier steel and stuff like that. Obviously it's not a mill, it's just a little drill press, but we're going to see just how far we can take it over the course of the next year or so using it here in the shop. So I'm going to show you guys how to put this together, how to join it up with the vise, and then we're going to drill some holes in some shit and see how she does. Now we stopped to fast forward to the assembly to show you the installation of the chuck because I think it's very important. These cheap Chinese chucks are okay, I mean they function as they should. One of the big problems is they're super dirty, and it really, to get a nice good center, everything has to be really clean and lightly lubricated. And so what we're going to do now is we're going to clean it, and all you really need to clean it is just a little bit of basic brake clean. And what we're trying to do is we're trying to get a lot of this kind of like machining oil and gunk and stuff off of there, and you want to make sure that you get down in there with, you know, like a screwdriver or something like this, so that you can make sure that you don't want to scratch anything, but at the same time you want to make sure that the inside of that bore is really pretty squeaky clean. All of the mechanism needs to be as clean as possible, and so I always bring it all the way in and spray it all down and get as much of that garbage, you know, base oil that they use at the Chinese factory or whatever off of it, so that we can ensure kind of a smooth function. And you also want to make sure you clean the actual arbor piece as well. So the next and basically final part of this this installation is to firmly seat this chuck on this, the arbor onto the spindle is the technical term, I guess. And what you want to do is you want to make sure this is centered. And the reason this is so important, and why I put so much effort into talking about it, is that this right here will determine how much run out you have on your drill. And you want to drop the table all the way down, and if you can, if you have it, use a dead blow like this orange one. And if you don't, use a sledge with a piece of wood or something like that on it. Next up, let's give it a little test. So what I've done here is we have a big drill bit the biggest drill bit, 1/2 inch. This is a cheap, shitty, Harbor Freight drill bit. It's pretty worn. It's pretty old. And so to start with, what we're going to do is we're going to take a 2x4. All right, basic 2x4, old shitty 2x4. We're going to put it right there, and I'm going to make several cardinal safety sins that I never want to see you do. I am going to put on my safety glasses though, but I'm going to go ahead and just hold this piece of wood. And what you want to do is you want to put it up like that so it can't spin away from you. And so now let's see what it looks like drilling. So we're turning it on, 300 RPM, we're maximizing the torque. And basically it's drilling through this as fast as I want to feed it. And hey look, there's a hole in a piece of wood. Cool, huh? Next up on our torture test is this wonderful little piece of 1.5 inch tubing. It is, what is that? 0.1 inches thick. So what is that? That's probably like, I don't know, I don't do American, whatever, fuck it. Anyway, it's 0.1 inches of steel, and this is a 3/8 inch drill bit, and we're going in dry. Shitty old Harbor Freight drill bit. No fuss, no muss. Nice little drilled hole, nice little cool shavings. Let's see if we can step it up a bit. Once again, we're stepping up the game. Now we're back to our 1/2 inch drill bit that we used on our wood earlier, going through the same piece of steel and going in dry. Okay, let's see if that's my fault. Let's go full mastodon on this chalk. Oh, manly man stuff. Cool. So aside from the fact this isn't quite straight because this is stupid, and the chalk slips a little bit, went through it just fine. Gonna need something better. Next step, I found something a little heavier. This is gonna be, that is 0.274 inches. So this is probably about 1/4 inch steel. It's just some random piece of scrap I have around the garage. And we're gonna see what our 1/2 inch drill bit makes of this. Now remember, we're here to test the drill press and not these shitty cheap drill bits. I have better snap-on stuff that'll go through this like butter with a hand drill, but let's just see how it behaves. This time we're not going to torch test it quite as much because I don't want this to slip, and so we're actually going to put down just a little bit of this. This is nothing more than silicone spray, just kind of a lubricant. So you can see I'm having a lot of trouble, and as you notice, the chalk isn't moving. It is only the belts that are slipping. So I'm gonna pause the camera real quick, see if I can't tighten up this a little bit more and get it to hold the drill bit a little better, but it's like almost all the way through, so I don't think it's gonna be much of a problem for this to handle. Now, to be fair, there was no camera trickery, there was no magic behind the scenes. I didn't drill halfway through this and turn the camera back on and go, woohoo, we made it. I did tighten up the belt a little bit more, but it seems that there's just a little bit of slippage on this forward drive set. And I'm going to do some Googling later on to see if there's a smaller belt or something I can get that's going to be a little tighter. or maybe put some sort of screw mechanism back there on the motor to help pull it tight. But if you go nice and slow, the drill bits will go through anything. I went through really clean, it's a really clean, nice hole. Alright, so we drilled some stuff, we put together some stuff. Let me kind of give you my thoughts on this. First of all, let me say that I have used, 5,000 pound bridge ports. I've used some pretty heavy machinery in my life. And so I know kind of what that means and what that is. And this is not that. But I think that for $110 out the door, this is very good value for money in terms of drill presses. I haven't done the research, but my guess is that none of the other big boxes are going to carry it for quite as cheap, and if you get it, it's going to be the same fucking thing. I might be able to find this cheaper somewhere on eBay a little bit, but the Harbor Freight is nice because if it ever breaks, I can just take it back and finagle an exchange from them. So, let's talk about upsides. First of all, it's got great power. It pushed that 1/2 inch drill bit straight through this 1/4 inch steel right there. You can see punched a nice little hole. Not a big deal. A lot of people online bitch and moan about this adjustable table. Yeah, this handle is plastic, but you really shouldn't be putting too much force on it. I mean, it's just going up and down. So I'm not really sure about that. Overall, it's got a good heft to it. I would still feel more comfortable if it was bolted to my table. I would definitely consider that. Some of the negative things. There's two big negative things to me. Number one is the belt slippage. Under the highest torque application, this front belt here that sits between the arbor and this mid pulley, to me is a bit lax. And the way you adjust it is you slide this motor pulley back here, back in front, and this one pivots. And to me, I just feel like I should be able to get a little bit more tension out of it. And maybe at some point I'll put together something that allows me to kind of crank it down a little bit. But I feel like this belt is maybe one size too big. That's niggle number one. If you go slow, I mean, you'll get through whatever you need to get through, so that's not a big deal. Issue number two is this arbor. For Chinese out-of-the-box arbor, it's fine. It's kind of what I'd expect for $110 all in. This goes up to a 1/2 inch. To me, I don't like that. I wish it went up a little bit further for some of the other applications that I need. So I'm going to look into and possibly make a future video about putting a different arbor on here. The other thing is, my arbor at least, this right here, this fitting between the key and the arbor, I can already see that it's going to start slipping pretty soon because it's not cast very well. This key isn't cast very well, or maybe the arbor isn't cast very well. And so I really can see that stripping out here after a few months worth of use. So I'm going to see what I can do about getting myself a new arbor. Other than that, this fixture is pretty solid. I would definitely make sure that you're tightening it down before you actually drill anything. There's quite a bit of slop that you can take out of it by tightening, and then you can loosen it. And I have absolutely no issue with this plastic handle. It feels pretty well made. It's a really high strength kind of ABS type plastic. It's stamped PA for those of you who know what plastics are. Everything else is metal. The only other thing, and this is a personal thing for my garage, it is quite large and I'm still not entirely sure where I'm going to put it. It is a tool that I've needed for a long time. I've put off buying for a long time, and I ran out of time. I need this as a tool in my garage. I need it on pretty much every other project I do, kind of the direction that we're going here. And so all in all, I'm very happy with my purchase. Yeah, it says the chuck is technically a 5/8 chuck, and but the biggest drill bit I could get in there was a 1/2 inch. So I don't know, your mileage may vary. All in all, I'm very happy with this. I know a lot of people shit on Harbor Freight, especially on the internet, where everybody can talk tough. But half of the stuff in my garage is Harbor Freight, and you guys have seen me turn out some really cool stuff. And I've been turning out cool stuff for years, even before I got into the whole YouTube thing. So, Thanks for watching. Please subscribe. Make sure you subscribe to my Instagram channel at MaksWerks. A lot of cool pictures go up there long before the videos come out. And I look forward to using this thing on projects. You're going to see it in projects. I'm really happy with it, and we'll see if there's a few modifications we can make to it to make it a little bit better. But all in all, I would say that if you're looking for a drill press and you want to spend around $100, $110, this right here is the drill press I would buy. That's all I got for you guys. Peace.